Welcome back. In our spotlight this morning, now that Ghislaine Maxwell, the ex-girlfriend and madam of Jeffrey Epstein, has spoken to the federal government, we're wondering what she told them. So Maxwell recently met with a top Justice Department official, and according to her attorney, was asked about 100 different people, and she answered every question. In 2022, Maxwell was sentenced to spend 20 years in prison for helping Epstein sexually abuse underage girls. In a jailhouse interview with Talk TV, Maxwell wasn't exactly empathetic toward the victims when Epstein died behind bars without answering for his crimes.
Epstein died, and they should take their disappointment and upset out on the authorities that allowed that to happen.
Maxwell is also asking our U.S. Supreme Court to overturn her conviction. So, is there a deal to be made here? A release from prison, perhaps, based on the information she shared? Let's bring in our guest to talk about this. Still with me, former United States attorney. He's a practicing criminal defense attorney in the private sector now, William Elenfeld, and the director of the National Center for Victims of Crime. She's also an attorney. Renee Williams is here, too. Great to have you both on this. William, let me start with you here, please. The possible things that could come out of this meeting. I think everybody's wondering, so what happens? Is it a release? Is it, are more people going to be prosecuted? Tell us what we should be thinking about, please.
So, first off, it's highly unusual for the Deputy Attorney General of the United States to go and conduct a witness briefing to debrief someone who's either a witness or a defendant or a convicted criminal. And so this almost never happens. When I was U.S. Attorney, I didn't jump into those kinds of meetings unless it was a case I was personally handling. Otherwise, I let my staff do that kind of work. And there's reasons for that. You know, when you're at a high level in an office or at the Department of Justice, you don't want to make yourself a witness. You don't want to get down into the weeds and do the work of the people that are really on the front lines. You're more of an administrator as the Deputy Attorney General, not actually a prosecutor. So highly unusual that he did that. But you know what's going to result from this? It's a little bit unclear at this point in time. What we do know is that she was given a Queen for a Day letter. That's basically immunity to talk to the government. And so she talked about things that perhaps she did wrong, but was able to provide information about others. There's the potential that other people that perhaps committed crimes could ultimately be prosecuted, and she could be a witness. Now, you typically don't sit down for such an interview unless you're going to get something in return. The media reports indicate that she has been offered nothing. There are no promises made in exchange for her information. You know, I don't know if that's the case or not. But typically when you have somebody sit down and you offer them immunity for the day and they talk about other people, they expect to get something in return. So it remains to be seen. And just in the normal world of the DOJ, and I'm not sure that this is normal what's happening here, but in the normal world of the DOJ, if somebody offers information that allows you to prosecute someone who's done harm to others, whether it's through drug trafficking or violent crime or something else, you're typically going to receive some sort of benefit, some sort of reduction in your sentence. So I'm sure that's what she and her attorney are hoping for. Of course, they're taking that other angle going up to the U.S. Supreme Court, or at least they hope to get into the U.S. Supreme Court to try to attack her conviction that way.
A really, really helpful context and insight you're sharing with us, William. Thank you for that. Renee, of course, I want to turn to you and talk about the victims and the sentiment that's out there publicly with so many of these people who just feel so frustrated by what they perceive as a real lack of justice being served in this case. Would you share your thoughts on this, please?
Sure. Well, I think there are many, many victims that we probably don't know about. And that is because what happens in trafficking is that traffickers groom their victims. And so there are a lot of women who are probably still very afraid to come forward because there's some very powerful men out there. We don't even know the scope or the breadth of what the files say. And so I think we can't even say in cases like this because this case is like something we've never seen. And so we are just going to kind of keep waiting for justice for some of these victims because it will take a long time before they're ready to come forward, if they're ever ready to come forward.
That's such an excellent point, Renee. I want to show a clip now. This is Ghislaine Maxwell talking to Talk TV, and she's saying that she believes that Jeffrey Epstein was murdered in the jail, that he didn't die by suicide.
I believe that he was murdered. Well, I was shocked. And I wondered how it had happened. Because as far as I was concerned, he was going to... I was sure he was going to appeal. I obviously wish I'd never met him. You know, looking back now, I probably wish I had stayed in England.
Oh, I'm sure she does. Renee, staying on this topic of the victims, his death was such a blow, I think, to so many people who were interested in seeing him prosecuted and essentially, you know, publicly destroyed for the crimes that we know that he committed based on the evidence and things that were done in the past. If he got a sweetheart deal on, we won't even go there. Tell me, do you think that we're ever going to see this death case reopened with him? Do you think there's ever going to be any more of a spotlight put on how he died in the jail?
No. And in some ways, I hate to say this, but I don't know how much it matters for the victims on how he died. I think what we are seeing with some of these victims is the same thing that we see with many victims in the justice system, is that there is no justice, no formal mechanism of justice. And so that's why we see so many individuals reach out to the civil justice system and use the civil justice system. And it's something that we tell folks at the National Center quite often is sometimes you have to find peace without justice because our justice system sometimes just fails. But as far as Epstein's death, I don't think we'll ever know what happened. I'm not sure that it's worth it to reopen that case. Personally. I think that might be a controversial statement, but I just don't see the value in it.
Yeah, no, and really wanted your opinion on this. You know, we've been asking other show guests. We've talked about this with others, and it's as you both know, this is a really a heated battle going on. There's many facets of this. You know, we stay away from politics, as you both know, on Court TV. But yeah, fair questions whether we'll ever see anything open there and whether these victims will get justice, or as you said so beautifully, Renee, sometimes it's just about finding the peace. We'll leave it there for now, but again, Renee is the Executive Director of the National Center for Victims of Crime, and we'd love to have you back again very soon. Renee, thank you so much.